offer their comments and share those of their colleagues. Please provide a warm welcome to graduate and your classmate, David Brady. David?
Thanks.
Oh my God.
It's not left slides. It's not one. I'll hold it.
Go by here. Adjust it. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hope you're having a
Scott.
wonderful time tonight. I was asked last week by Enrico to say, would you like to be the valedictorian? And I said, sure. Then I looked it up and go, what is it? What do I do? I don't know what I do. I have a good friend that does a lot of speeches, and he says, I can tell you, but you got to figure it out for yourself. Thanks. So I looked it up, and I'm supposed to address the class. So I kind of have to wait for you guys and then everyone else. But that is in essence what I do, is address my classmates. And I'm thinking that's perfect, because this is the people I like. We all like wine, we do well. So I have something written here. I hope not to look down too much, but I will do my best. So, first thing I thought is, sommelier. Where does it come from? What does it mean? So I went and looked it up. And during the Middle Ages, the sommelier was the person responsible for guiding animals and carrying wine and other foods. I don't remember doing that part of the course, but maybe Randy skipped over that part. I'm not sure. Then, the 16th and 17th centuries, the term is a meaning evolved to, and I need my French help here, sommeil du seigneur, who referred to the privileged individuals who should keep and maintain proper foods for the lords. And then finally, in the 19th century, it turned out where a sommelier was the person who was responsible for the world of wine. So that's where it comes from. Well, at least according to the internet. So my next question was, how did we get here? Why are we sitting here tonight? Why are we having a nice dinner and drinking our wine? So, as many of us did, as I talked to a few people in the class and everything, we typically started with our LCBO experience and we took our introductory to wine. And that evolved into one night a week for 4 weeks, and we learned about whites, reds, ports, sherries. Done. And for some, that information was good enough and they moved on. But it only spurred interest in others, and those others are sitting with me here tonight. So, some of us enrolled in the program to satisfy this appetite for wine knowledge. Others to assist in their careers, and others to meet new friends and to have that common interest of wine. So, now we're here, but what did we do? So I sat back and thought, what did we do? Well, most of us entered the first introduction to the program with our wine tasting course, conducted by I Paul. I think the majority of people did as well. This was an eye-opener for a few, particularly me. I for one sat there as Paul asked, what do you smell in this particular wine? Yeah, you know where I'm going. Before I could collect my thoughts, the girl behind me, I won't say who, said white flowers, sweet honey, and citrus peel, which was picked from the Indian River County of Florida on a rainy day. To this I thought, this is way over my head. I get wine. So fortunately, Paul made the course educational and very enjoyable, particularly by telling his tales of being a bartender and his LCBO experiences. So we got that course down. Where do we go now? Well, Hello Vitale, wine varietals. That was a good course. It got tougher now though. Instead of us having all these different wines, now it was the same varietal, but the 3 different glasses. It got tougher to do, but this allowed us to hone our skills and get even better. I started even noticing citrus. The bonus to this class is an Italian frequently brought in food such as roasted pepper and goat cheese dip. Yeah. Homemade pizza and speck, to name a few. And for some of you out there who doesn't know what speck is, smoked prosciutto. I didn't know.
With cracked pepper. What would you do with cracked pepper?
Okay, I've been
That's how they
corrected.
talk.
Okay. My only downside to that whole class, unfortunately he's not here, but it's not a bad thing. He wrote a pizza dough recipe on the whiteboard, and I didn't write it down. So if anyone has that, please see me later. So this is also the class where one realizes, or at least I did, that Rito glasses do make a difference. Food pairing. Ah, Liam. That was one of my biggest eye openers. I thought, food pairing, Liam's going to tell me this with that, this with this. It didn't work. Not on your fault, by it. One would think that foods would be slam dunk to a match. Salmon, Pinot. But that's not the case. He says a number of times the class was split as to what wine matched what food. And we would put it up on the board, although I had a question later that you put it up on the board, but some other people had clickers.
Yes.
I didn't have the clicker. But okay. But, so this gave rise to the question, what really goes with what? And a lot is up to the individual. And if anything I can take from this program with wine, a lot is up to the individual. You cannot tell them what they like. They know what they like. So that is, I guess, the most part I took from the course so far. Vinification. Yes. Okay, so this will ring true. At one point in time in the program, one has to suck it up and devote 4 Saturdays in a row to vinification. This is an all-day course with Aaron, where one learns how a winemaker imparts flavors and aromas into the wine and makes it their own. A long day indeed, especially when you start tasting wine at 10 a.m. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just saying I needed lunch. So, not to be overlooked, the port tasting prior to the final exam. You made it. New World and Old World. We conquered New World and Old World wines. With both courses, the instructors gave a personal feel to the course by showing pictures of their journeys in wine countries all over the world. This was great. I thought that was just fantastic. Although I have to admit, some of the pictures of Peter looks like as though he was sampling a bit more than Liam or Antonio. And finally, advanced sommelier. This is where all the fun of wine is paired with the business aspect, where the tire meets the pavement. It was nice to be introduced to some beers and spirit tastings. I was a little worried when I found out our instructor, Randy, gave up alcohol for Lent. What kind of message is that? You don't have to answer, it's rhetorical. But I don't get it. Anyway, it was challenging and fun creating a wine for a restaurant. And I know some of us, that the wine list that we did create are actually being used in these restaurants. Good for you. It was interesting to watch everyone sweat in that room just over there as their names were called one by one for our practical service exam. And I swear to God, that's intentional on Randy's part. But we did it, and we are done. So where do we go from here? I can't answer that question for you. You have to decide. Some of us use the designation for career change, use it for personal interest, while others may use it to benefit and travel. Whatever you do, don't stop now. The world of wine is so vast, it is a lifetime of learning. Enhance it, enjoy it, and have fun. And to that, I would like to raise a glass to my class. 2011. Bravo. Thank you.